this is Matt and welcome back to Kingdom Dynamics, a video outreach from Line of Judah Restoration Ministries here in Huntsville, Alabama. I bless you in Yeshua's name. I would just want to encourage you with a quick word today and let you know that we can move forward as a people, we can move forward as individuals, but more importantly as the body of Messiah. You know, unfortunately, a lot of believers are what I call stuck in neutral. They're not moving forward. If anything, they're drifting back. They're sliding back into the old patterns, the old ways. And they're not moving forward for the kingdom. And they're not moving forward in their relationships or their families or much of anything. And that's a tragic thing because there is a better way. Think about a car stuck in neutral. It's not going anywhere. Unless, of course, it's on a hill, and then chances are it's going backwards rapidly. So we don't want to be like that. We want to be moving forward. We don't want to be motionless and stuck in a place just because we're unwilling or unable or don't know how to move forward. What are the causes? Why do people get stuck in neutral? One of the things, and you've probably heard this phrase before, is analysis paralysis. Paralysis because of analysis. Analysis that leads to paralysis. In other words, the need to understand every nuance, every detail about something before acting on it. And believe me, I understand that. I'm an engineer by background and by training. I can relate to that. You know, we're trained to understand things before you go and try to build something. You better know how it's supposed to be put together. You better have plans. You better have things wrung out. You better understand, okay, if this happens, what do I do? If that happens, what do I do? And that's great for engineering. But for life in the Spirit, that's not so good. Because we will never understand everything about Yahweh in this life. I'm sorry. He is unsearchable and unfathomable. His ways are so far above and beyond our ways that if we think we're ever going to understand everything about him in our earthly realm, we can forget about it. So we have to understand when he reveals something to us, we have to move with it. We have to move. We have to reach that point where we decide, I'm moving forward. I don't care if I don't understand everything. I'm going to walk by faith and not by sight. Overanalysis quenches the Spirit. Let me say that again. Overanalysis quenches the Spirit. And I don't know how many of you are out there that can relate to that, but I've done that. Done that, gotten the t-shirt, don't want the t-shirt anymore. I want to move forward. I don't want to be stuck in a place quenching the Spirit of Yahweh just because I'm overanalyzing or overthinking something. You know, our mind is a powerful thing. I talked about that recently. As a man thinking. Our mind is a powerful thing. But sometimes we can talk ourselves out of victory. We can get so wrapped up in trying to understand the nuances, we miss the whole train going by. I love Abraham. I love the example of Abraham because there was no man of a greater faith in his generation, in many generations, than him. In fact, he's referred to as the father of faith. Why? Because he lived and walked by faith. It wasn't an easy thing. He made mistakes. He made some boneheaded decisions, just like we all have. But when he first got the call from Yahweh, it says, Yahweh told him, get you up, get you out of your father's house, go into a land that I will show you. And he just got up and he went. And the amazing thing is, prior to that, there is no indication in Scripture that he had even heard of Yahweh. He had any relationship with Yahweh. In fact, Terah, his father, made idols. He worshipped another god. And yet the voice of Yahweh, the word of Yahweh came to Abraham and said, get you up, get out of your father's house, away from your kindred, and go to the land that I'm going to show you. And he got up and went, and it says he didn't even know where he was going. He didn't have to. That encounter was so profound and meant so much to him that he was just willing to lay everything down, get up, and go. What else leads to us being stuck in a neutral place, stuck in no man's land? One of the things is complacency. We get comfortable with the status quo, whether it's tradition, whether it's a religious mindset, whether it's this is my comfort zone, this is what I'm used to. We can get complacent. And there's a time and a place to reach an oasis and sit about and just enjoy it for a little while. But then it's time to get up and go again. Remember the ancient Israelites with the tabernacle. It says in Scripture that they had to be ready to go. They would set the tabernacle up, and if the glory cloud moved, they got in, they packed everything up. Even though they just set everything up, they packed everything up and followed. Sometimes they'd be in a place a day or a month. Sometimes they'd be there a year. They didn't know. All they knew was they were not going to be left behind by His presence. They were going to pursue after Him. And isn't that a great lesson for us? To pursue the presence of Yahweh. What else can cause us to be stuck in neutral? Well, one of the things that, this is going to sound contradictory, but busyness. We can get so busy, stuck in neutral, we're spinning our wheels, we're going nowhere fast, but we're expending a tremendous amount of energy. You think about a hamster on a wheel. Man, those little legs are just going and going and going, but where's he really going? Nowhere. He's stuck in neutral, even though he feels like he's flying. What else can keep us stuck in neutral? Fear. Fear. One acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Fear of failure. Think about Moses. He had some questions for Yahweh when he encountered that burning bush, and Yahweh said, I'm going to send you to Egypt and you're going to bring my people out. He had some questions. He had some trepidation. He had some fear. He said, well, what if the people don't believe me? Yahweh said, don't worry about it. I will be with you. Fear of the unknown. Abraham never, ever would have left his father's house and people and ventured out into the unknown if he had been governed by fear. But he was not governed by the fear of the unknown. He went and he launched out there. What about fear of change? The ancient Israelites feared change. They got out into the wilderness and realized, this isn't the land flowing with milk and honey yet. They want to go back to Egypt. They feared the change and they feared the unknown too. They didn't know what was going to happen the next day. But they were willing to go back into slavery for 3 square meals a day and a place to lay their head. Isn't that something? But we can be that way too. We can want to go back to what basically is a bondage for us. Maybe not in the strictest sense like the ancient Israelites, but something that represents spiritual bondage for us. We can want to go back to that because that's what we're used to. We're afraid of change. We're afraid of the Father shaking things up by the Spirit. Scripture says, whatever is not of faith is sin. So we have to walk by faith, and we have to move forward by faith. What is the solution? We walk by faith and not by sight. Paul said this, Philippians 3, verses 13 through 15. He says, forgetting the things that are past, forgetting the things that are behind, and stretching forward to the things that are before, I press on toward the goal for the prize of the high calling in Yahshua Messiah. Let us therefore, as many as are perfect, think this way. Speaking of as a man thinketh, let us think this way. How should we think? Forgetting the things that are behind and stretching forward to the things that are before. I press on toward the goal of the prize of the high calling of Yahweh and Yahshua the Messiah. Let us therefore, as many as are perfect, think this way. So part of getting out of that stuck in neutral place is changing our thinking, stretching forward, forgetting the things that are past, both good and bad. It's great to bask in the victories of the past, but if we spend too long basking in the victories, we're going to miss out on the next victory. We're going to miss out on the next challenge, the next chapter that the Father is trying to lead us into. So we have to be willing to step out in faith. We have to be willing to move forward. And part of that is a mindset, or a change in mindset. And recognize where I'm at has not been bad necessarily, but I know there's more out there. I know there's more. I know the Father is leading me into more revelation. I know He's leading me into new ministry opportunities. I know He's leading me into opportunities to touch and change people's lives. You can't do that when you're stuck in neutral. So I encourage you and I challenge you to get out of your comfort zone, to get out of that place of neutrality where it doesn't seem like anything's really moving, anything's really changing. it feels like quicksand. Reach out, take the Father's hand. He'll pull you out of that muck and mire, set your feet on a solid rock, and then propel you forward to do exploits for Him. It's an exciting time to be alive and be a believer. We don't want to be stuck in neutral. We want to be moving forward, forging forward, bridging new places, blazing new paths, penetrating into dark regions, and bringing change and transformation, bringing the light of the kingdom into that place. This is Matt German with Lion of Judah Restoration Ministries, Kingdom Dynamics. I bless you. I thank you for your time. I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. And I encourage you, if you've been blessed by these videos, that you would share them with others. Share them with others. Look for opportunities to minister into other people's lives, even through using videos like this. You can just send a link to somebody and say, hey, I think you'll be blessed by this. And they will be. Again, I thank you and I praise Yahweh for the opportunity that He has given me to speak to you and to share some things from His Word, some things from the Spirit. And I just encourage you to continue your walk with Him, moving forward, not backwards, and not just on a treadmill, not just treading water, not just staying in one place, but moving forward spiritually into what He wants for your life. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. May Yahweh make His face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yahweh lift up His countenance over you and give you His peace. Hallelujah.